Alright, Trickers and Trickers, now it's time for the third episode review of the day, Family Business. Cisco's in his quarters fixing chicken paprikash and humming to himself cheerily as Jake enters. As he only cooks Hungarian food when he is in a good mood, Jake deduces that his father has convinced the Belgianites to exchange ambassadors with the Federation. As they begin their meal, Jake casually brings up Cassidy Yates, a freighter captain he is eager to introduce to his father, as he mentioned before. Cisco attempts to cool Jake's heels but acknowledges he will meet with Yates soon enough. In Quarks, business is booming and the bar is packed, but Nog is nowhere to be found. Rom reveals that his son is studying for his entrance examinations for Starfleet Academy, much to Quark's chagrin. Nog, he claims, will cause the end of Ferengi civilization by joining Starfleet and abandoning the pursuit of profit. Although Quark claims Nog wants to be human, Rom jokingly claims he simply wants a job with better hours. Quark is not amused. Their business is interrupted as Brunt, a liquidator from the Federation Commerce Authority, enters to post a writ of accountability on Quark's wall. Panicking, Rom immediately tells all patrons to vacate the premises. The bar is now closed. Brunt is now behind the deserted bar, busily working a pad as Quark and Rom sit nervously. Rom attempts to make small talk with Brunt while they wait, but Quark is not amused. Suspiciously, Brunt asks if they have listed all the bar's profits, reminding him of the severe fines they will face if they have lied to the FCA. Double-check the figures on the pad. Quark immediately claims Rom has forgotten to add the profits from their Tillberry wine franchise. Once his brother leads her to the figures, Quark inquires about what he has been charged with, pay the customary bribes to first learn which law he has broken and then to borrow a copy of the law to read. By this time, Rom has returned, and Quark discovers his crime is improper supervision of a family member. Another bribe reveals that Ishka, Quark and Rom's mother, has been charged with earning profit. Quark next stops by the security office to see Odo, informing the constable that he will take a trip to Ferenginar and hold Odo personally accountable for the security of his bar in the meantime. As Odo has already learned of Quark's trouble with the FCA, the Ferengi reveals that they have to pay for his mother's crimes unless he convinces her to confess and make restitution for whatever she has done. Meanwhile, Cisco and Kara arrive in Ops, where Cisco informs her he has decided to Deep Space Nine's new runabout, the Rubicon. The Major teases him about his habit of naming runabouts after Earth's rivers before she goes to work, noting how many runabouts the crew seems to go through. Dax intercepts Cisco on the way to his office to eagerly ask about Cassidy Yates. It seems Jake has told her already. Although Cisco has yet to meet Yates, Dax has, and she claims Curzon would have stolen the freighter captain by now. Cisco tells her he's glad she's not Curzon anymore. On the way to the airlock, Rom catches up with his brother to announce that he too is going to Ferenginar. With the bar closed, he is eager to see Moogie again. Quark does not want Rom to accompany him, as he always takes their mother's sides in arguments, even calling her Moogie, a childish nickname that Quark detests. However, he agrees to let Rom come along. Quark and Rom bring Brunt to their boyhood home on Ferenginar, where Brunt pays the standard admission fee and signs a legal waiver to cover potential theft. Rom is glad to be home again, but Quark appears uneasy about the number of new items in his mother's house. Rom finds his old tooth sharpener, which reminds Quark of how he only had a chew stick when he was a child. Brunt interrupts them to give Quark a formal list of Ishka's crimes and inform him that they have 3 days to obtain a confession. However, a glowed Ishka enters the room and informs Brunt that she has no intention of giving one. Rom is glad to see his mother, but Quark tells her to undress immediately. Brunt meanwhile shields his eyes from a clothed female and is taken aback as she addresses him, a stranger, directly. He takes his leave after reminding Quark of the 3-day time limit. Quark attempts to reason with his mother, but believing she is standing up for all Ferengi women, she refuses. It is clear Ishka is pained to think of hurting her sons, whose reputations will suffer for her actions. She refuses to give in. In front of Quark's, Bashir and Odo look on as O'Brien attempts to open the locking mechanism on the door. It seems their dartboard is locked inside, and though they could replicate another, Bashir claims it is the principle of the thing. However, Odo is not optimistic given the convoluted lock Rom has put together. They are interrupted when Cisco stops by to inquire what is going on. O'Brien denies that the dartboard is lucky. Cisco observes that it will take a while to undo the trip The tripartite microsealing mechanism Rom has constructed. He is on his way to a cargo bay. O'Brien is under the mistaken impression the commander is on his way to meet Cassidy Yates. Although this isn't the case, it seems Jake has told everyone about his father meeting the freighter captain. Rom comes to the table with a bowl of fresh tube grubs, having prepared themselves since Moogie is not feeling well. Quark begins scheming to claim Ishka is mentally ill, but Rom reassures him she only has a rash from the newness of wearing clothes. The two reminisce about how independent their mother has always been, while Quark chooses to focus on the negative aspects. He claims she dragged their father down and that he will not let her do the same to him, right as he claims he will put her in her place. However, Ishka enters, fully clothed, and challenges him to do so. Rom is clearly proud of his mother's defiance. They sit down to eat, but Rom is surprised the FCA is making such a big deal when he learns that all Ishka has done is earn 3 bars of latinum by investing in Hyperion beetles. Nonetheless, Quark is adamant that Ishka must repent, yet she remains equally adamant that Ferengi society is in desperate need of change. Additionally, Quark is worried about his mother, who will be sold into indentured servitude in addition to the stigma her sons will face. Although Ishka is acting from her heart, Quark accuses her of being selfish and not caring for anyone but herself. Ooh, harsh. Later, Rom visits privately with Ishka in her bedroom, which is bland and utilitarianist per Ferengi traditions with regard to females. Ishka keeps this way to remind her of the idiotic Ferengi traditions toward females. Though he's glad to see his Moogie, Rom is uncomfortable, and because of seeing clothed Ferengi females, so Ishka disrobes for him. He's generally concerned about Quark and tries again to convince Ishka to pay back the bars of latinum she has earned. However, she reassures him Quark has always provided a generous stipend. The issue is pride rather than money. She's willing to be sold into indentured servitude rather than pay back the 3 bars. As they embrace, Ishka lovingly tells Rom what a good son he is for being so concerned for Quark. Ishka then offers to sharpen Rom's teeth. Sisko finally meets Cassidy Yates in the cargo bay, where she and her crew are loading cargo into her freighter, the SS Osha. He learns that Yates' equipment is outdated before formal introductions. The two might over Jake's overzealous matchmaking attempts, but Yates must attend to the inertia motor on her ship. As Sisko leaves, he hesitates, and he suggests they meet for coffee the next day at 1800. The next morning, Rom emerges sleepily from his room, cleaning his ear, to find Quark has been up all night on the computer. It seems Moogie has conducted business transactions under dozens of aliases, proving she has the lobes for business, but earning so much Quark will never be able to pay it all back. Meanwhile, Quark is seated across the table from Rom, still in shock and with a faraway look in his eyes. Rom claims Quark is not the type to fly off the handle, that they will come up with a solution, but Quark claims Quark claims to have found one. He will kill Ishka. Uh-oh. Quark enters Ishka's bedroom, where she has to hide a pad she was using to try to hide still more earnings. As he confronts her, she claims he is jealous that a female is better at earning profit than he. She compares Quark to his father as Rom enters, but Quark refuses to believe that his mother did not receive help from a male or that his father was a business failure. Stubborn Ishka refuses to budge, so Quark storms out, headed for the FCA. However, Rom follows him into the main room of Ishka's house and confronts Quark, claiming Ishka is right on both accounts. Quark is furious, yet Rom, who lived at home 10 years longer than his brother, claims their father was a failure and only got by with Ishka's help. They grab each other in the Ferengi equivalent of a brawl and knock over several pieces of furniture in their attempt to kill each other before Ishka enters to break it up. She reassures Rom she will be fine and tells Quark to do as he pleases. Once he leaves, she begins to cry. Aww. As he enters her waiting room at the Tower of Commerce, Quark observes how steep the 45 stairs are and remarks the 7 stairs of latinum required for the elevator. Talk about inflation. He asks to see a liquidator Brun and sits down, but several seconds later, Rom enters, exhausted from running up the stairs. At first interested in whatever Rom has to say, Quark perks up and hears Ishka plans to give him half her profits. Cheerily, he gives an extra slip for the secretary and takes the elevator down. Back at home, Quark apologizes to his mother for everything he'd said before in stunning Ishka, asks how much profit she made so they can divide it fairly. It turns out that Rom had lied to both, telling Quark that Ishka would split the profits, and Ishka that Quark wanted none of them, and had done so in order to get them talking to each other. Showing backbone, He praised both brother and mother, pointing out that Quark shows some respect to his mother, and that if Quark can uncover profits, the FCA surely could too. He then insists that they settle things, without shouting, while he heads off to take a nap. Ishka tells Quark that he's a lot like her, that Rom was like his father. Rom, like his father, never understood the rules of acquisition, but Quark, like his mother, does. She agrees to imprint the confession for him, so she can't refuse him anything. Back on the station, Sisko and Yates are having coffee at the Replimat and discussing New Orleans, Sisko's home. He recalls the good food and the great music. However, Yates looks uneasy and breaks news that she had a prior engagement, but a family one, and she was waiting for a subspace transmission from her youngest brother on Cestus 3. Cestus 3 is on the other side of the Federation, and it takes 2 weeks for a transmission to reach Deep Space Nine. When Sisko questions what the transmission is about, she must tell Sisko that her brother plays a sport that was played on Earth centuries ago: baseball. Sisko can't believe his ears, and has more ideas about the team, the Pike City Pioneers and Cestus Comets. Yates tells him that it's a 6-sided league, but more teams are potentially forming. But she asks why he's interested. Sisko, now like an excited child at Christmas, tells Yates that he loves baseball, but he doesn't know anyone apart from Jake who was interested in it or even heard of it. Yates suggests that Sisko come and listen to the transmission with her, so it's an audio recording of her brother's game against the Cestus Comets. As they head off, Sisko pesters her with questions about the league. Do they use a designated hitter? No. What about wood bats? Of course. And whether or not they could use a right-handed pitcher while flexing his right arm as they're warming it up. As Sisko and Yates walk away, chatting about their shared interest, Jake smiles to himself from the top level of the promenade, knowing that his matchmaking efforts worked. On Ferenginar, Ishka imprints the pad with a confession for Brunt. Brunt notes that she will be an example of old women. She was an example of old women that nobody could outsmart the FCA, but Quark brimes him with a small sack of latinum. After all, he says, what will people say if they knew a female had made that much latinum? After Brunt exits, Quark says his goodbyes and follows. Rom and Ishka hug and disclose that she only gave up a third of her profits, but that the FCA wouldn't find the rest, so she hid it so well hidden. She wasn't sure if she'd be able to find it all. Nice. So now let's take a look at some trivia surrounding this episode. This episode features the first appearances of 3 characters who would subsequently become more important: Cassidy Yates, Ishka, and Brunt. It also features the first appearance of Ferenginar and the first reference to the Ferengi Commerce Authority. The style of Sisko's goatee is considerably thinner and less noticeable in this episode compared to how it appeared in a previous episode. The style will be continued for the remainder of the series. Cassidy mentions that her brother lives and plays baseball in Cestus 3, which had previously appeared in the original series episode Arena. Quark's family on Ferengar has a round, hobbit-like front door. The author's foreword to Ira Stephen Bear and Robert Hewitt Wolf's book Legends of the Ferengi is filled with Lord of the Rings references, and they appear to be avid J.R.R. Tolkien fans. This might have been an intentional homage. The new run about USS Rubicon is given its name in this episode, replacing the USS Mekong, which was lost at the Battle of the Omarion Nebula in the Dias cast. Quark's mother saves his old childhood action figures, which happen to be redressed Ferengi action figures for the Playmates TNG action figure line of the mid-90s. Quark's figures will make another appearance in the 5th season episode, Ferengi Love Songs. Nice. So overall, I think this episode is pretty dang good, and I do like the fact that we get to see Quark and Rom's childhood home, and also we get introduced to their mother. And of course, the first appearance of Cassidy Yates is pretty good, considering what happens to them happens to them later on in the series. So there you go. So overall, I give Family Business 3 warp cores out of 5. When I would tune in bed as we take the final episode of the day, Shakaar. So until then, live long and prosper, everybody.